scheduled tribes. What are the options that the Aam Aadmi Party could offer to people who will not fit, even if they ever might in income, the ethos and the kinds of identity that go with being a middle class person?
Well, I think that you've raised a profound question. Mine was a very modest attempt to talk about neighborhood engagement. In other words, that we have an awakening in India. A new middle class has come up. And now the job of this middle class is to engage with politics. And the process has begun with the Aam Aadmi Party. And so this is a good opportunity for us to start the process because neighborhood engagement was not part of the European ethos, nor was it a part of the Asian. Almost no Asian country had that. And I think that so whether it was founded on black slavery or white or killing of the American Indians, I think is of very little consequence for this purposes of art. We are taking inspiration from an idea, and that idea is of neighborhood engagement.
We have to end by about 5:30. We have a question. We'll take one question here, 2 and 3 there. 4 more questions, but quickly, please.
Before I get to the question, I had a few clarifications about the questions that were raised, because I myself have worked for the India Against Corruption movement before I came here, and many of my friends have gone back to support for it, and I'm tied down with the student loans and stuff. So as far as the election manifesto thing that somebody raised in the back, one important thing that comes to my mind is the book Swaraj that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has written is excellent manifesto for the party. One example that I'd like to give from the book is that he talks about this area, which is a slum area in Delhi, which didn't have water supply, which didn't have, real electricity and things like that. And when the government, provided funds for that, it came under a particular scheme like Narega and, the Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission and things like that. So when the money comes from that, like the centralized manifesto which comes down. So for that area, there were a lot of fountains that were created, as part of the process that came through from there. But they didn't have water in the first place to get those fountains ready. So what he says in the book is that every particular area has a different type of a scenario set up. So you cannot have a centralized manifesto on most of the topics that that we face on an everyday basis.
Can we please get to your question?
Sure. So the next question I had to ask is that as far as Delhi elections are concerned, we've seen how 10,000 volunteers or more than that are going on the voluntary basis and getting the word across. But do you think with less money, people they've come to such an extent in India that if you don't make the right kind of noise, they don't really pay attention to the political party. Like you have a big Rath Yatra by the BJP, and then people take notice of something's happening. So with that money constraint, people have been joining in for Delhi, but what is your opinion about the rest of India? Of course, time will be the best answer, but when it comes to the whole of India in the Lok Sabha elections, with that money constraint, with the media being gagged by the central government, without having that kind of a reach, what kind of tactics that they're using for Delhi, do you think they would be sufficient enough, and what is your take on it? That was my question.
See, the real test is in Delhi. So the proof of concept is really in Delhi. So they have, so many volunteers going out and making it happen. Then there's no reason why the same thing will not work in the rest of the country, because you just have to expand that in a big way. And there are constant, requests about why is that you're not starting in other parts of the country. And they've already started in Karnataka. So it's spread that.
I'll just answer one more question.
Yeah.
The basic tenet of the strategy is awaken Indians. Like today they have over 100,000 volunteers, unpaid, going door to door and convincing people. You know how much it costs BJP and Congress for those 100,000 volunteers? Even if they pay $1,000 or $2,000 each volunteer paid, because all they can get is paid people. Okay, that's $200 million or more. Okay, so and the passion that the people bring, who are unpaid volunteers, their own passion is worth a lot, and that is what it's like a wave that goes. Okay, so it may be a tsunami. Who knows?
Let's have the question there in the far back.
Yes, so one thing so there were two main issues which were brought up. So one was that of corruption, and the second was that of the economic policy of Aam Aadmi Party. And I heard only 30 seconds worth of conversation about that from Mr. Gurcharan Das. So my question is to Mr. Gurcharan Das is that since the Aam Aadmi Party does not have as cohesive a message on the economy as they have on anti-corruption or other governance issues, what is your opinion, what is your take on the economic policy of Aam Aadmi Party, and whether I should be cynical about the Aam Aadmi Party if I want India's economy